sector news for today. Education sector news, politics and media sector news, and home affairs sector news. Hello and welcome to Connect World TV, your world in one village that brings you your news a sector at a time, with special Know Your Government, Community and Environment sector pieces whose formation is to bring the government to the people to the government, and one person to another. My name is Kesia Kulu. The first story hailing out of education sector today is one where the Minister of Basic Education brought together matriculants, members of the media, and some government officials rather, in order to have the matriculants sign a declaration, and this was a state of matric readiness. And in this particular hosting, she ensured that matriculants signed a declaration in which they declare to behave and to ensure that they adhere to the rules and regulations that govern the examination room, such as thou shalt not cheat. Let's have a look at this as Andisa Kyolo reports it for us.
The Minister for Basic Education, Mrs. Angie Motshekga, hosted the National Senior Certificate Pledge Signing Ceremony at the Danville Girls High School in Durban North. This ceremony saw thousands of matric candidates taking part in the signing of a pledge that shows their commitment to complying with all of the rules and regulations relating to the National Senior Certificate examination.
And that's why we're here, so we're sitting here to represent the entire cohort of learners in the country. Because we're launching this pledge on behalf of all the learners in the country. The matriculants are going to commit, and all those who are going to sign, are going to commit for every learner. So if there's a learner who copies, you should know that you have disappointed you, because you're going to commit them to integrity, to honesty, which is what we're all about. But for me, it's very important also, and as I also said in the morning when we spoke to the NEC, to say, it's really not for us, it's a very, very serious business for us every year to have the signing of the pledge. It's one activity to take very serious. As a minister, the fourth minister, the fifth, and I'm the sixth minister now of education. As the minister who's been in the portfolio for more than 10 years, this is one of the areas that has really been heartbreaking to see the consequences of something that could be avoided, destroying people's careers and destroying people's children's lives.
The MEC for Education in KwaZulu-Natal, Mr. Kwazim Shengu, encouraged matric students nationwide to study hard for this examination, as this marks a very important time in the education of a young person.
You will know that we are trying by all means to ensure that there are no irregularities in our examinations, be it teaching or any form of irregularity that will disturb the credibility of our examinations. And really this is about the future of learners in particular, because if learners are found to be teaching, one, it will disturb the whole credibility of examinations, not in the province, not only in the province, but in the country as a whole. But secondly, it will disturb the progress of learners, because those who will be found to have participated in copying or cheating, they will have to face consequences and they will have their future disturbed. But not only those, you will know that even other learners who are not part, they also get disrupted, because their marks will be withheld until further investigations and all of that. So we don't want a situation where our learners are unable to progress beyond matric because of irregularities of our exam. So that is why we're here today.
Lindelwa Twala, a student at the Danville Girls High School, thanked the Education Department for all of the help that they have received ahead of their examination, and also pledged to comply with all the rules and regulations of the examination board on behalf of all the learners.
And to make you proud by honoring all examination protocols and delivering an excellent set of results. Thank you.
The Department of Education holds the mandate and stands as guardian for the execution of education to individuals of the state as a basic right expressed in terms of Section 29 of the Constitution and ensure the utilization of the prescribed curriculum. Among others, it also holds the following responsibilities: to provide educational resources such as stationery, computers, learning facilities, educators, and personnel. Communities can engage with the Department of Education through adhering to its set standards of operation applicable to students, service providers, and educators, respectively, to ensure compliance, and also by reporting any suspicious or fraudulent activities. For more news in relation to education sector news, tune into your preference stop Connect 12 Sector News, #Connect World Sector News on all social media platforms.
Well, honesty is a virtue that I think the minister is hoping that matriculants will certainly abide by. Hailing out of the politics and union sector news today, we bring you the deputy chairperson of the ANC in the province of KwaZulu-Natal, Mike Mabuya Khulu, as the ANC hosted the gender-based violence march that saw the streets of Durban go yellow, green, and all that, you know, the ANC colors. And of course, this is a very serious, sensitive and serious issue in the community, and a very sensitive nerve in our communities where we are being abused, one person abusing the other. And the ANC and civil society took to the streets to say, we do not stand for this, not in our name. Let's have a look at this as Andisa Cholo brings us this report as well. Have a look.
The African National Congress in KwaZulu-Natal, eThekwini region, embarked on a peaceful men's march against the abuse of women and children.
This campaign is a campaign that emanates out of the national outcry that all of us are part of, with the increase of the incidents of gender-based violence that have actually taken place in our country and in our nation. We are not spared as the province of KwaZulu-Natal. The African National Congress, following the National Executive Committee decision and our Provincial Executive Committee, we have taken a decision where we have encouraged all our structures at a branch level to sub-regional level to the regions to be able to have campaigns and activities that are geared to us ensuring that we stem the tide against the increase of the incidence of gender-based violence. And we're saying this because we believe that the hallmark of our struggle for freedom was about the liberation of both men and female. This campaign is also about talking to men, that men must also appreciate that if women are therefore on the receiving end of activities that are claimed to be perpetrated by men, we can also be able to reconsider our views as men and be part of promoting coexistence between genders, which is female and male.
A memorandum that was sent to the Premier's office was signed, pleading for the region to intervene.
Ngiyayamukela le memorandum, swezwile ama demands, ngizoyithatha ke ngiyiphinisele kwisigungu esihola lomkhandlu ukuze sibheke mase siyayithatha siyisa kuma clusters ekuyiwona aqondene ene nazo lezinto eniphakamisile ukuze enezi action siyayicommita ukuthi njengomkhandlu ohola inqola emasondosondo sizwile silalelile sizokwenza. Siyabonga.
Our message we are saying as the ANC Women's League, enough is enough. The abuse of women and children is not on, so it needs to stop. But in order for us to reach our goal, which is to have a free society, we need everybody. We need men, we need women, we need young people, we need old people to fight this thing of gender-based violence. So we need everybody. We need cooperation of government, we need cooperation of business people, we need cooperation of the community to fight the gender-based violence.
Thulisile Mbatha spoke on behalf of the African National Congress Youth League, pleading with the community to work with the police to put an end to gender-based violence.
We are saying, we are calling on communities to say, can we work together with all sectors in community, with a government itself, to assist in this gender-based violence, because these things are not happening in space, but they are happening in our communities. And in most cases, the sad part is that when my neighbor is getting beaten, I will say, no, it's none of our business, because there are a couple. We are saying, if you are hearing that your neighbor is being abused, then get together as a community and go there and assist the victims, call the police. Let us be the eyes and ears in community to assist the government in all sectors to ensure that this terrible phase that we are in as a community of South Africa, where we are seeing people getting...
Here are the top 8 most influential unions and political parties in South Africa. The role of unions and political parties is to ensure the welfare of its members, protecting the reliability of their trade, and to advocate for the needs of the community. You can get to be a member of any political party or trade union of your choice by simply visiting an office of that particular organization anywhere near you. For more news relating to politics and union sector news, tune on to your preference stop, Connect World Sector News, and hashtag Connect World Sector News on all social media platforms.
Of its kind dose of sector news hits South Africa through the shores of KwaZulu-Natal, with each sector's delivery of the most basic and crucial information whose knowledge brings the people to the government to the people, one person to another, for better cohesion and prosperity. We come at you Tuesdays and Thursdays, 7 a.m. on 1KZN TV. Your Home Affairs sector news. We all know that one of the most important structures of civil society or of a community is the element of traditional leaders. They often are the closest people to the communities and report to the government. Unofficial as a structure as they might be, they're very relevant, and the government is making efforts to take them seriously, as we see the Minister of Home Affairs, Aaron Motsoaledi, bringing them together into one sitting in Durban, discussing with various cultural leaders the policy that is being amended and discussing with them the imperativeness of ensuring that these undocumented marriages in our rural areas are documented. And within this caucus, he gave them a time frame. Let's have a look as Zesizwe Mchunu brings this for us.
The Minister of Home Affairs, Aaron Motsoaledi, called for a provincial meeting with traditional leaders from various clans and provinces, respectively, to discuss legislation surrounding marriages, namely to ensure that all cultural marriages are documented. During the discussion, many elements surrounding marriage registration or lack thereof were addressed. He invested measurable time to gain the buy-in of the country's vital community structure.
A customary marriage entered into before the commencement of the act, and which is not registered in terms of any other law, should have been registered within 12 months after commencement of the act, or as per the extension period of the late registrations granted by the Minister of Home Affairs from time to time, and I'll revisit it later. A customary marriage entered into after the commencement of the act must be registered within a period of 3 months of the date of celebration or entering into the marriage as the extension period for the late registration granted by the Minister of Home Affairs. These two statements mean immediately after the act was passed, we expected people to register their marriage, a customary marriage, within 3 months of it taking place. Those who took place before 1998, we're giving them time extension. But in view of late registration of customary marriages, I have, in terms of the powers vested in the office of the Minister of Home Affairs, extended the period of registration for both customary marriage entered into before and after the commencement of the act to be until 30 June 2024.
He further made room through the extension of time for undocumented marriages to be discussed.
So even if it happens, it doesn't matter when it happens, but you must come and register it if you want it on the National Population Register. If it's not there on the National Population Register, it's not recognized under the law. So to register that marriage, the Department of Home Affairs is going to ask for 3 things, only 3. It's going to ask whether you to produce documents to prove that Lobola was paid.
The meeting saw legislative attack and anguish committed towards the president by some traditional leaders. Nkosi M. Konyana, the chairperson of the Eastern Cape, explains.
The elephant in the room is this Constitution of the Republic of South Africa.
Yes.
If we don't realize that, we are playing games. The Constitution of the Republic of South Africa entrenches westernized norms and values at the expense of African norms and values. Fortunately, you and I, Comrade Minister, we were involved, and you know the position of traditional leaders in the country. At Kodesa 1, Kodesa 2, that failed, and when we were not there. And the third one, that had no name when we were there. At least it passed a compromise constitution.
Standing as voice of the civil society, Dr. Sylvia Peto, Deputy Chairperson of the CRL, highlighted the importance of diversity in society and the guarding of our various cultures' norms.
The Commission for the Promotion and Protection of Rights of Cultural, Religious and Linguistic Communities is a Chapter 9 institution, and it is an institution supporting democracy. So I stand here not defending any type of marriage, but I am standing here to say to South Africans who are here that we all have a responsibility to protect and promote what we believe in, which is our culture.
This is Mkunu, Home Affairs Sector News, reporting for Connect World TV, Durban.
The Department of Science and Technology seeks to boost socio-economic development in South Africa through research and innovation. To achieve its goals, the department provides learnership, enabling environments, and resources for science, technology, and innovation. Through its programs and several entities that work alongside it, the department is accomplishing groundbreaking science and enhancing the well-being of South Africans. The community can work together with the department by finding out about opportunities that are funded by the government heading towards the 4th Industrial Revolution. The community can also assist the department by letting them know about failures of systems that have been introduced by the department. Should you need any more information, call the Department of Science and Technology on the numbers on screen. For more science and technology sector news, tune on to your preference stop, Connect World Sector News, hashtag Connect World Sector News on all social media platforms.
Of the education sector news this time around, it is the educators of South Africa setting up a forum in which will create them a platform nationally where they can discuss their grievances and hopefully be able to have their challenges addressed. Let's have a look at this particular clipping that is brought to us as Zimkita Nondolongo reports it for us.
The South African Democratic Teachers Union in KwaZulu-Natal launched its academic forum, which created a platform for teachers in the province to discuss a number of educational issues and contribute the knowledge production through conducting research. Provincial Secretary Comrade Nomarashia Kaluze elaborates more.
are gathered here in the SATU House as the leadership of SATU in the province. We are launching the SATU Academic Forum, which is attended by members of SATU coming from the 80 branches that we have in the province. And these members, they have masters, and others are starting towards PhDs or doctorates. Others already have doctorates or PhDs. The reason why we are having this gathering is to create a platform for our members to engage extensively on issues of interest in the society, in the public there, but mainly touching on education. Remember, we are an organization that is recruiting and organizing in education, and we are saying it cannot be correct that members of SATU actively engaged in teaching and learning, but they don't have a say on what must be happening in the classrooms. So we said, let's have this platform so that teachers as individuals and collectively, they can continue with the research. Remember, as a teacher or as a person who has acquired masters and the PhD or doctorate, you have to produce some papers and continue researching. Our observation has been that majority of them, they get those qualifications and don't continue doing research. And we feel that they must be assisted because they must be contributing towards knowledge production, which is the reason why we also have universities here in the gathering. We have UNISA, we have UKZ and DUT, UniZulu, Menkosa. The reason why we invited them is that we must create a link between ourselves as SATU and the university so that on daily basis we interact on issues of interest as well as ensure that there's quality teaching, understanding the role that teachers have to play in changing the society.
She also explains the benefits of this program that was launched.
The program like this one, to us, it will be of benefit to teachers first as individuals and the organization, but most importantly, the community and the learners will benefit in that they will be having teachers who also have a say as people who are actively involved in teaching and learning. Teachers will have a say in what they are doing instead of the current situation where most of the time there are lesson plans that are flying left and right, coming and imposed on teachers, neglecting the context and the situation of the schools. So if our learners have teachers that are actively involved in research as well as the communities, it will mean that we are benefiting the society, the community. Remember, there's a lot of research work in the involvement of parents in our schools or in the learning of their children. But in South Africa, there's not much. Remember, we have these challenges of school safety, we have challenges of substance abuse, and sometimes we always complain that our parents are not closer, they are not coming to support teachers. But if we do research, when even ourselves as the union, when we talk, we'll be backed by research to say if parents can come closer, the learning of their children will improve, and we strongly believe that with that our parents will really come closer to our schools, support teachers and support the learning of their children.
Zimkita Ndolongo, reporting for Education Sector News, Connect World TV, Durban.
The Department of Education holds the mandate and stands as guardian for the execution of education to individuals of the state as a basic right expressed in terms of Section 29 of the Constitution and ensure the utilization of the prescribed curriculum. Among others, it also holds the following responsibilities: to provide educational resources such as stationery, computers, learning facilities, educators, and personnel. Communities can engage with the Department of Education through adhering to its set standards of operation applicable to students, service providers, and educators, respectively, to ensure compliance, and also by reporting any suspicious or fraudulent activities. For more news in relation to Education Sector News, tune into your preference stop Connect World Sector News, #Connect World Sector News on all social media platforms.
first of its kind dose of sector news hits South Africa through the shores of KwaZulu-Natal, with each sector's delivery of the most basic and crucial information whose knowledge brings the people to the government to the people, one person to another, for better cohesion and prosperity. We come at you Tuesdays and Thursdays, 7 a.m. on 1KZN TV. Well, I certainly hope that you have enjoyed this particular edition of Sector News for you today that has been brought to you with love by Connect World TV. Remember, we are Connect World TV online. Do hop online and let us know if there's a story you'd like us to track for you, and hashtag Connect World TV, hashtag Connect World TV Sector News. My name is Cassia Kulu. Good morning, South Africa.